Hey Cancer, this is your general tarot reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon or Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of April. Cancer, let's do as we always do. We're going to shuffle the cards and wait on the right ones to come out for you. And in the meantime, let's talk about the energies that you may feel throughout the month, throughout Aries season, which has its challenges, but I think if you work through them, you will really come out on top on the other side. So let's focus, Cancer. We're leaving March still feeling the effect of the full moon in Libra in your 4th house. And unusually enough, this month again in April, there is another full moon in Libra in your 4th house on April 19th. So last month and this month, you are really closing something. You are really dealing with something big to do with a family issue. Maybe something there is finally coming to an end. Worrying about where you live, worrying about certain family members, worrying about your privacy too. That's another big thing. Wanting to feel secure, safe in your home, in your life, in your heart, in your privacy, and maybe feeling that you hadn't set up enough clear lines between you and other people, that now you seem to be craving this need to have your privacy, to have your quiet time, your quiet space, your place to breathe where nobody else is interfering with you. This is so important, Cancer, because there are big changes happening, and I kind of like that you're feeling the need, or at least the draw, to go home, to feel that you must be nourished, you must be cared for, and that you must be, first and foremost, the one who's doing that, the one who treats your wants and needs with such reverence, with such prioritization. It's got to be the number one thing that you do. Now, you will need and desire to be at home, spend time with family, feel nourished, feel cared for, and the need for that privacy is paramount here. Because at the same time, balancing all of that out, Cancer, is the Sun in Aries in your 10th house, where you're making big moves maybe in your career to push yourself out there, promote yourself, get into a prime position, forget some of the fears, worries, doubts, self-doubts you have, and just be brash, bold, and be out there, be seen, be noticed, and take on a huge amount of responsibility. I get the feeling, Cancer, it feels like the big push this month. As look at that, the first card that comes out is a card of saying one last push. This is the big push that's on now. This card came out there too. I want you to also be aware, Cancer, that if you feel that you've taken on way too many responsibilities, way too much, that it's becoming such an intense burden for you this month, what I want you to start doing here is to start delegating, because there are things that you need to do. It's got to be about you now pushing, getting your independence, getting known out there in your career space, making a kind of a dent in that space this month. And you need to let so many other details be handled by other people. My point being, don't try to do everything yourself. And don't feel overly pressured either. If somebody says, have that report now, have that project finished now, have that done now, there's a time limit, you must, you have responsibilities, you promised, you committed, you said you'd do it. Don't feel the weight of that burden so intensely that you might crumble, because this is why I'm saying delegate. Even if it's for those of you in a relationship, if you have your partner, say, I'm going to be really focused on my career, getting my responsibilities together. I'm in charge of something and I need to make this work. So make sure your partner is supporting you. If you've children who are old enough, make sure that they're doing all their chores, that you're not picking up after them. Make sure that everybody is doing their bit around you while you push forward with something very powerful this month, Cancer, okay? Okay. And do this month, please make sure that you have that quiet space, that you're not befuddled or dragged or pulled, particularly by some emotional situation that could be happening around you, maybe within your family or within where you live. Don't get knocked all out of sorts. Now, I'll just say this, for some of you, the moon in Libra in the 4th house could mean that you've ended up signing a contract. You've finished with the business of signing a contract of moving home, changing home, or some maybe legal things that you had to sort out about moving to another country or something like that, or some family issues. It seems that that's a period that the pressure might be a little bit on, but you can make it happen. But there's the other thing I'm feeling here too, Cancer. When you're out there this month working hard, pushing through the obstacles, breaking through and making something big of yourself this month, the important thing is not to neglect how you feel about what you're doing. If certain things aren't sitting right with you as you're pushing ahead, as you're trying to break through some barrier, if they're not sitting right, then take time out, stop and listen. Listen to yourself, listen to your feelings, listen to your gut, because this will support you no matter what it says. Even if your gut says, see all of these responsibilities, Cancer, it's much too much. Maybe pull back a little bit and wait till next time. For some of you, maybe. Either way, the pressures cannot get to a point where you feel that it's all too much. So that's very important. But you're pushing, and some of you in that push could see some real success this month, Cancer. Now, big things that are going on. We enter the month with Mercury in Pisces, Venus in Pisces. So your mind is on broadening everything you're doing, broadening your perspective, broadening your horizons within your career. Again, probably even thinking of moving far away, broadening your education, broadening your, it's just, I must see the whole picture. In order to get ahead with my career particularly, maybe I need to pull back, have that quiet space to get an idea of the bigger picture here. So I know where to target myself. I know exactly that sweet spot to run towards. So there's an element of that. Venus in Pisces too. Maybe for some of you, it could be a foreign person or a foreign lover, or the love of foreign things, foreign cultures, that again inspires you to move on some way, that makes you feel good. For some of you, if your business involves trading or working with people from different cultures, different countries, different nations, again, this is really positive for you. Very, very positive. Now, there are other meteor things happening, but I have to kind of talk through the more immediate things before I get to the big stuff. Now, April 5th, new moon in Aries in the 10th house, definitely. Traditionally, this would say a new career, opening up into a new arena, opening up to a space where people get to admire you, see what you do, and that is happening. But the other thing I feel here, Cancer, is that you're opening up to a new way of doing your career. It's almost like I have newer ideas. I suddenly see it all differently now. I can make money doing this career. I can open it up in a fresh way where when I drive it, I'm so enthusiastic about it. I'm not bored about the work that I'm doing. I don't feel like it's a burden or a heavy thing. Instead, I feel I can make this happen. I can set this on fire. I really can open it up. So again, great energy, new moon, manifesting a new direction in your career, manifesting new responsibilities, taking on bigger responsibilities and letting other people handle the smaller details. That's another thing you want to open up here. Making sure you've all the support you need while you get out there and make a success of yourself, Cancer. Now, Mercury, April 17th, moves into the 10th house too. It's all these radical new ideas about how to switch up your career, how to move it forward. The responsibilities that you've taken on, you're now thinking, about how to redraft them in a way where they work for you better. Everything's got to work better for you now. Systems have got to work better for you. If you are being very responsible in some area of your life, like the head parent or the dominant leader in a place, or the one who's driving something along, organizing something, then again, this is the month where you're coming up with great ideas to make that even slicker. Make that structure strong and make it happen. Now, speaking of organizing structures, April 10th, Jupiter is retrograding in Sagittarius in the 6th house, where you're taking a moment to slow down and again rethink about how to reshape, reorganize, restructure, remodel your life, but also your responsibilities, your career, your whole approach to your career. Maybe you're giving way too much time to pushing ahead. Maybe it's making you anxious. Maybe it's affecting your health. So you have to go back this month with the help of Jupiter and say, okay, let's reorganize this. I don't want to feel like I'm being pulled and dragged along by this world. I don't want to feel I don't want to feel that my health is suffering because of certain things I'm doing in my life, my relationships, my friendships, running around after everybody, being the one who, stays true to their promises and commitments. I don't want to do that in a way that makes me ill. So again, you're going back to reorganize that. And it could be for some of you that you want more freedom in your life, as that card came out. You want more freedom in your life. You want more space in your life. You want to explore your life more. And you're now probably this month coming up with some new plans on how to expand, explore, and reshape the whole model of your life so that you get the benefit from it. Yeah, so that's very good. It is a good time to go back maybe and get some health check. Not saying anything is wrong, Cancer. I'm just saying it's a good month maybe to go and get your blood pressure taken, to get a little checkup, well, in whatever way you want, just to make sure that everything is a-okay before you start pushing onwards, okay? Now, I also want you to do something here too. With Jupiter retrograding in Sagittarius, there could be a real moment here where you start neutralizing some of the toxicity that's been brought in by other people into your life. Partners, friends, work colleagues in particular, the work that you do. If some level of toxicity is brought in, then this is a great month where you begin to treat that a little differently, where you don't let other people's criticisms or toxic vibes affect you. Now, this is very supported by two other big things that are happening this month. April 24th, Pluto retrograding in Capricorn in your 7th house. April 30th, Saturn retrograding in your 7th house. And you're saying, this can't be good, this can't be good. It is. A card fell on the floor. I have to go and get it. Wait now. Come up. This card. What we've got going on here, Cancer, is the beginning of a real eye-opening moment for you, where you might suddenly become aware that other people have been driving your life. Other people and their criticism, other people and their wanting to project something onto you, other people and their low-level vibes at times, other people and their problems may have affected you for a long time, maybe even all your life, where you were just always dancing to somebody else's tune. Now, you might say, well, that's not true. I'm very independent. I'm Cancer, a cardinal sign. I push myself forward in this world. I'm not lazy. I'm not a shirker. I'm certainly not somebody who does what other people tell me to do. But this is a month where you have a pause and wonder about that. The career choice you've made, is it a reaction against something, or is it because you want to do it? Did you get into the world of finance, banking, executive, something or other because that was expected of you? Other people, maybe your parent, a dominant parent, both parents said, this is what you should do. You should go and educate yourself and you should do this. And you responded to it. Partners, lovers, the same thing. Maybe you find yourself always trying to keep them sweet, keep them happy, always making decisions based upon their needs. And now here's a real moment where you get to say, do I really do that? Do I get into relationships with people who drag me down? Or do I get into relationships with people who are somewhat aspirational to me, that I can look up to them, that they're like a parent figure in some way, that they might take care of me? So there's a real moment here too, Cancer, I feel, that you've got to look at all relationships, the relationship you're in, future relationships, business relationships, close friendships, and say, do I get into these relationships because I want something from them, or they want or need something from me? Am I always running around rescuing the wounded birds? Am I always running around feeling like the wounded bird and nobody's there to rescue me? How did that happen? How am I doing all the running around after everybody? How am I holding it together? How am I the responsible one all the time? And nobody is there to help me. Instead, certain people in my life are just continuously dragging out of me. So Pluto stepping in and said, well, who's in control of this? Are they in control of you? Are the maybe awful situations that a partner might be bringing into your life, are they dictating to you? Do they have the control here of the direction of your life? Would you take a totally different path were it not for some significant person in your life? Do you see that as a good thing? Or do you see it maybe as time to say, for once, I need to start taking care of my direction in my life and not always be compromising for other people? The North Node is in the first house, Cancer, where it's kind of like ding dong, destiny calling. Destiny is providing a door. And when you arrive at destiny's door, he wants you to walk through into emerging as a very empowered person, somebody who drives their own life, somebody who is choosing at every point and juncture in their life their needs, their wants. And you say, that's got to be selfish. I can't do that. I've got a partner, I've got family to consider, I've got a business partner, I've got things to consider. Can't be all about me. Well, that's the narrative that you gave to yourself. And with Jupiter retrograding in Sagittarius, maybe that narrative is one of the things that has to be detoxed, healed, neutralized, and restructured. Because as you walk through destiny's door, it's got to be about what you want, where you're going, without feeling obliged in some way, Cancer, to always consider somebody else. I mean, how often do you boldly, brashly make a clear decision that's solely for you? Well, there's the big question. And Pluto is saying, well, it's time that you examine that. You've got to take control now of your reaction to other people and how you allow them affect you. Because in a very, very healthy balance here between your needs and other people's needs, you can still fulfill your destiny. You can still go where you need to go, and other people should support you, should come along with you, should encourage you. But if they're always hanging out of you, always making you feel that they have control, then there is something very, very wrong. And you have to stand in front of destiny's door, put your hand on the handle and just push right through here, Cancer, and say, I am sorry. I have a life to live. I didn't come here to be the nanny or caretaker to everybody. I didn't come into this life to play mommy or daddy to the world in general. I have that quality and I'm very good if it's needed. It doesn't mean that I sacrifice who I am and where I'm going in order to be only that. I have control over my destiny, and I certainly am not going to be triggered, pulled and dragged by other people's opinions anymore. And I am not, for those of you with very lazy or critical partners, I am not going to put up with that anymore. I'm going to walk through that door with a big, grand, dramatic entrance and slam it behind me on those who criticized me, on those who deliberately triggered me, and on those who deliberately held me back. So for some of you, this is a real moment where you get to end maybe some karmic relationship with a person, friend, co-worker, business partner, husband, wife. It's played out. I'm not here to be your servant. I am here to serve something bigger. I'm serving my life, and working towards the destiny that was given to me is serving that something bigger. Saturn retrograding, restricting and restricting and restricting you until you're squeezed and put under so much pressure that you have to address some of these issues where you're far too influenced by other people, and that you can't get on with your own life, you can't get on with your own work, you can't get on with being a parent, being a responsible family member, you can't get on with it because other people are there to make you happy, unhappy. But that's not true. Other people aren't there to make you unhappy. Other people might be unhappy in their lives. Let them get on with it. Your job is not to be dragged down into their unhappiness, or your job is not to feel or take it personally when their toxic vibe spills out all over you. You just, sorry, you hold on to that shit, that's yours. I have a doorway, a destiny doorway to walk through. I am not here to pick up your pieces. I am not here to collect the dirty laundry of your life that's only inches away from the laundry basket, by the way. Could you not have put it in yourself? I am not here to do that. I am here to be free, to live my life and fulfill my own destiny. And if you're with me, and if you're a good partner or a good friend, you come with me through that door. But if you're dragging out of me and you are taking from me, taking money from me, taking time from me, taking focus from me, taking confidence from me, then you're gone. And I will make that big dramatic exit and slam that door behind me. You're gone. So, you see, this goes on with Pluto and Saturn until around September, October. And the idea here is, between now and September, October, Cancer, is for you to really organize, identify what it means to be in a good relationship, what it means to not try to get into relationships where you are being controlled or too controlling, or where you're not trying to reimagine your childhood, how your parents were, where you're not trying to recreate a theatre of the past. You have something to create. That is your life. And when September and October comes, whatever you've cleaned up, whatever you've decided, when Pluto and Saturn go direct again, it will be kind of locked in. We've locked it down. So Saturn and Pluto are more or less saying, here's the stage, here's the situation. Do you need to move a few key players here? Do you need to change the scenery? Do you need to change the script? Let me add a little bit of light onto this so you can see what you're dealing with. How can you make this better? Because when that curtain closes, that's the show, that's it, it's locked down. We will continue with that theatre evermore after that. So make sure that what you need to be cleaned, what you need to be reorganized, restructured, remodeled within your partnerships, make that happen between now and say October. Because it will be almost like written in stone then afterwards. So make sure that when you get through this, that you've everything you want, the right attitude and the right direction for all of your partnerships. So Cancer, I know that was a long introduction. I think it's important to explain the energies to you. As I always say that these introductions are long. I'm not going to do this again. I know I keep saying it, but I'm just conscious of that. Forget it. We've discussed this already, and I heard your wonderful replies, by the way. I read them last month when I asked her, the intro's too long. I was overwhelmed by your answers, and I really appreciate that. So, yes, we will keep the intros as is. Anyway, enough talk. As that card jumped out. So yeah, just to say that again, I really do thank you for the very kind comments last month, Cancer. I'm very happy that you're appreciating the explanation of the energies. Thank you. So, one card had flipped itself over. Yeah. Let me choose a few more here, Cancer. The Queen of Water, you're a water sign, attracting a better version of your wants and needs into your life. 3 more, my love. The Fool, taking risks, big leaps of faith. 2 more. 1 more. This pushed itself out, yeah. The Hermit. So Cancer, let's go over now to the big grand, ta-da, overview. So we open up with the energy of you feeling it this month. In Aries season, there's always that big push on. Every time we get to Aries season for you, it feels like hard work, hard effort needs to be put in. I need to just push that little bit further. Breathe in and just give it one last swing of the bat, and make it happen. But here's the thing that I did touch upon with you earlier on. You're ready, you're geared up, you're fired up. Come on, I can do this, I can make it happen. Just one big last push. But something happens where you suddenly, before you swing that bat, you say, wait a minute. I need to change tack here. A victory will come from me not by working hard, but by working smart. Delegation, certainly, we've covered that. But maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe it's not about just going in all fire and brimstone and making it work. Maybe it's about reorganizing how I do this. Maybe there's a better way to approach this, where I feel more connected, because there's the pressure on which can really unsettle me and really make me feel disconnected to the work that I'm doing or the responsibilities that I've committed to. I don't want to be just somebody who just fulfills what I've promised. I have to feel that. I have to feel it. So this is the big change of tack. I'm going to come up with some new ideas, and they might be radical ideas, and they just might be things I've never tried before, but I'm going to give it a try, because I think it's time to change something up. But I do sense here there's a resistance and a reluctance. It's like, I know how to make this better, but I'm under so much pressure time-wise that I can't make it better. I just have to do the work now. Just have to get it all organized now. And if only I had the time to really breathe and sit down, I know I could do it much smarter. So there is that resistance to doing something a little bit better. Now, I can't tell you what to do, but I get the sense here, Cancer, that if you get a lot of private time, as much as you can between some of the pressures that are going on this month, get as much private time as you can. Go for half an hour and walk on your own somewhere. Maybe in the evening, if it's safe, of course. But go for a walk somewhere. Clear that beautiful brain of yours and say, I can go back, finish this thing, finish my obligation, finish my duties. But I could also do it a different way. I could, I could. And I won't be letting anybody down. See, that's the big thing. I don't want to let anybody down. I can't let them down. there's no getting out of this. I can't let them down. But what if you're not actually letting them down? What if this change of tack actually makes it a whole lot better? Delegate. Make sure you have support on your side this month. Make sure you support yourself this month. So that's something that's on your mind. Now, Cancer, this is what I love, because again, we touched upon this. This is you feeling that you're on some new mission that you're feeling stronger about. You see, you've got the responsibilities, but I think when you just change it up a little bit and include something more open and honest. I mean, it could be a point where you just have to say to your boss or whoever you've made this big commitment to, say, this is too much to take on. I want to do it. I want to do it right. But I feel I want to do it my way. I feel that I can give something extra to it, something more to it. If you just give me a little bit of breathing space to bring my magic to it, I can make this not only good, but 10 times better. So you're on a mission to tap into that intuition and to trust it. To trust it, because knights are always sent on a mission. So it seems that somewhere along the way your soul has sent out the troops and said, Cancer needs a little bit of help in this pressurized month. Send out the troops, send out our top man to find how Cancer navigates through this. And the top man, first person, he went to the high priestess, the wise one, the intuitive one, the soulful one, the one who has all the answers, not because she's using logic, but the contrary, because she's using emotional intelligence. She's feeling it all out. Moon energy. Now this is new moon energy. And on April 5th, there's the new moon again in Aries in your 10th house, where all these responsibilities and duties and things that must be done are. So she's saying, okay, you've come to me. You're in that relaxed space. You've gone for your half-hour walk where you've just cleaned your mind, and you found me in the clearing in the woods. And I'm going to tell you the answer. You've got to trust your instinct. No matter how awkward it is to explain, no matter how challenging it might be for other people to accept, no matter how difficult it might be to actually stand up in front of a bunch of people and say, I can't meet some of these commitments. These responsibilities are too big even for me. I've got to reorganize it so that I'm never put under this pressure again. And the same thing here too, for those of you opening up to a new career, finding a new job, finding a new key position in your life. This is a moment where from now onwards, you can't be that like the other people, cold, hard, logical, let's get ahead, let's not think of anybody, let's just keep our mind on the money, keep our mind on keeping this thing moving. Excuse me. It doesn't suit you, Cancer. You will actually excel by considering your wants, needs and feelings, and also other people's wants, needs and feelings. And trusting, it's this thing, trust that whatever rising up that you can't suppress, that confident voice, intuitive voice, the confident one, listen to it. That's your guide. Now, I will say for some of you, when it comes to love or partnerships, you could really be feeling the love with a fellow water sign, our Pisces people. Or it's also new moon in Aries. You could be feeling the love for Aries too. But there is love, respect, admiration. There is gratitude and maybe even forgiveness. But there is an open feeling, a good heart vibe between you and a Pisces or even an Aries. And they seem to be able to show you or teach you or explain to you a kind of wisdom that you can use in some heavier situations, perhaps within your career. They bring you down a little bit. And you're saying, you said Aries though. Aries energy doesn't bring people down and calm them down. You'd be surprised. Aries has a lot going on with them at the moment, where they've Neptune and Pisces. They have a type of intuitive wisdom going on with them at the moment. They might be the one that explains something deeper for you. So listen out for them. But there could be love, as I said, between a Pisces and you, or an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant and you. Now, mid-month here we have a feeling of union, collaboration. This is Venus in Aries, and on April 20th, Venus does go into Aries, making your career situation runs far more smoothly. There is more money to be made, more opportunity happen. If you've to convince your boss of an idea, money-making idea, if you're to convince the greater audience out there, then this is going to be working for you. I get the feeling, Cancer, you're doing something different in your career that is quite risky, quite a challenge. It requires a lot of nerve and a lot of trust. And it could make you fall. You say, I am just letting go here and I'm falling, but I trust. And when you do, boom, 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 4 new corners of a new foundation goes in to your passion for your career, goes into your life, goes into your family life. 4 new corners, new home for some of you. Full moon in Libra last month and this month. Celebrations happening. Now, for some of you, this is also a marriage card. There could be wedding bells here this month. But in a month where Pluto and Saturn are retrograding, before you make a commitment, can you please sit down and say, am I actually making this decision based on who I'm becoming, or am I just falling into some trap here of, reliving something negative? So I know that sounds awful, but this is the month where you're asking questions about marriages and relationships in general. So before you jump in to commit to something, ask, is this what I really want? Is it what I want? This is the card of serious communication, Mercury and Capricorn style energy. I'm going to just sit down and absolutely think practically about this. Think like Saturn would about the relationship. Does this make sense to me now? Am I living old karma? Could I not invite a new kind of renaissance in my love life? Do I have to repeat the same old patterns? Could I not be doing better? For some of you. Now, cross-watchers, don't panic. You're saying, oh my God, don't do that, for the love of God. Don't leave me. I don't know. Not every Cancer will do that. But just as I said that, I want to touch upon that too, Cancer. If you do find yourself in a very clingy relationship where either you or your partner, at the first sight of change, where one of you will be desperately saying, don't leave me on my own. If there's that over clinginess, because remember, relationships are supposed to add to your life. They're constantly designed to prop you up, support you, encourage you together as a couple. They're not supposed to be, stay with me or else I'll die, stay with me because I cannot live without you. That's desperation, that's not love. So you're going to have to really seriously think about this partnership and maybe get some good advice. This could be a month where some of you do go to get marriage guidance, counselling, couples therapy, or even private therapy or counselling about why these themes keep coming up for you in relationships, certain themes that you recognise, Cancer. Excuse me. Now again, a Capricorn card, again, saying that you want to expand inwards. Okay, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn retrograding, all the energy coming inwards this month. Wanting your privacy, wanting to re-examine and re-explore who you are, the water queen, the one who attracts true love, who's receptive to real love, not clingy love. Now she is on the shore. If you look at her, she is on the shore. And her job is to invite the waters of love, let them flow in, let them flow out. But at the moment, I mean, if this isn't handled right, she could just be a coast guard on the side of the beach, where instead of people seeing her as beautiful all around her, she just watches out at the sea and says, oh, there's another one drowning, I better go and rescue them. They're my new partner, all those drowning souls. And it's not. She's there as the water queen, enticing the good flow, the good love, the intuitive ones, the caring ones, the gentle ones, inviting them from their ocean, from their lagoon, from their healthy space, to come to her shore and receive the reward, the jewel of her love. I mean, as I said, she's not a coast guard going in to rescue all these people who can't swim in their own emotional shit. She's a queen. Only the finest ones, only the ones who can swim on the water, only ones who can master water, the emotions, the heart, the soul, the psyche. Only they should be able to roll up like a gentle tide at her feet and receive her love. The mature ones, the ones who've got control and mastery over themselves, because you are blocking off any of the others. It's time, it's time. And then taking that leap of faith creates a whole new you. This is a new beginning, a new chapter where you're reignited, fired up. Of course, in Aries season, everybody gets fired up. But the oven is lit again, the fires are stoked up again, the flames are coming again, the volcano is starting to rumble again. There is life in you again, Cancer. And this inspires you to take big creative leaps of faith, big career leaps of faith, big relationship leaps of faith. And when we see the Fool, I say this all the time, the Fool is not an idiot. He's the wisest card in the tarot, 0. He is unaffected. He has been free of the effect of any number. He is just open, receptive, and he is ready to start all over again with a new slate, with nothing holding him back. Take a leap of faith and dive in, Cancer, because this is coming. The Saturn-Pluto effect, you're going to feel it, the Jupiter retrograding. This is the Hermit, taking all his wisdom and in a private, quiet place. You see, this is where it's very important. Don't let other people tell you, really, even me, how to navigate this month. It's got to come from your private intuition and wise place, to hold that light where there was dark and suddenly realize where you were bound and chained, caught by other people's expectations of you, other people's programming, parental programming, fears, doubts, kind of, instead of getting into and feeling surrounded and circled by a loving relationship, instead she's surrounded and circled herself with hurt and pain. And in order to stay there in that relationship, she has to have a blindfold on so she can't see the truth. It's better if I don't see what's really going on. And she's to bind her hands. I can't move. I can't make my own decisions. I can't be free. But at least I'm safe in this bad space. And he's holding that light up, your intuition, and saying, you've got to see this, my love. Being in a relationship that doesn't work for you is not better than being on your own. It's not healthier than being on your own. In fact, what's far healthier is being free of toxic relationships, friendships, or partnerships, and walking through destiny's door into your freedom. You won't be able to ignore it this month, Cancer. but I do believe you will be able to master it, because ultimately that's what the Hermit will bring, the wisdom to you must see it first before it can be fixed. Sorry, Cancer, I keep getting cut out. That's my sign to go. So I'm going to leave it at that, my beautiful, and I'm going to leave you with full confidence that you'll be able to really, really navigate through this month. And as you know, this is the general landscape. You know what to do by now, Cancer, to come along to the deep read on VIMEO, all linked down there below, where we open up the bigger themes of relationships. Very, very key this month, partnerships, relationships. And also for the singles out there looking for love, how do you approach it now? We're going to focus on career, another big thing, and money. We'll focus on family and friends and other things that might come up. And we'll get stuck in and get all the detail of what's happening in this very highly energetic month for you. So do come along. As I said, the VIMEO readings, the deep read, all linked down there below. We'll open it out and figure it out. My beautiful, I'm going to leave it, as I said, at that. And as always, I'm going to leave you with all my love and a great, great, great big kiss from me to you. Until next month, my beautiful. Bye.